meeting is being recorded.
Oh, okay, cool. Glad you let me know. Thanks, computer. Hey. Welcome to a very special edition of the LeoFinance Podcast. It's New Year's. We're going to give some updates on some stuff. We're going to hang out. We're going to chill. Got my kazoo here. So happy New Year.
Ha.
What's going on, guys?
Love it.
Yeah, so Kyle, do you want to get us a little bit hyped? I have no idea what's going to happen in 2023. Probably Kat and Nifty don't know as well. So what's in store?
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. So there's different aspects of the project, right? You've got the development technology side of everything. Then you've got the DeFi side of everything. And then you've got, like the marketing growth side of everything, right? So on the development end of the spectrum, everything's kind of shifted toward this everything app idea. So, a big piece of that is kind of taking what Elon Musk has done at Twitter. And, prior to him taking over Twitter, we were already kind of moving in that direction. Project Blank has been in development for, I think, almost 2 years now. It's pushing 2 years within a few months of 2 years. So, we've been working on it forever. And a lot of the stuff that's gone into trying to make it happen has been largely around, back end infrastructure and just kind of getting those key pieces that we needed into place so that we could do, microblogging and do it in the right way. So, microblogging has existed on Hive, but it hasn't existed in a form where you can actually make, thousands of threads a day. And I know, Nifty makes a ton of threads between replying and creating his own threads. I mean, probably hundreds per day. So that wasn't possible on Hive prior to threads launching. So creating that whole backend where people could do that was really important and really difficult. So now that we've got this backend all created and we've been testing it and battle testing it with LeoFinance.io/threads, our focus has shifted to the UI. So the new UI is rebuilt from scratch, and I've shared plenty of teasers, and just a few of the developers and I are testing things and doing bug fixes on the fly. And then we're going to start rolling it out and getting some people in to do like closed alpha testing. So that's kind of where we stand right now. And going into 2023, it's going to be a big focus now that Elon has taken over Twitter and is kind of showing off what this like everything app idea is. A big focus of ours is kind of tackling kind of a similar vision that he has. Because, if you've ever heard him talk about it, he talks about, micropayments and helping authors get paid for their content, and adding long form content to Twitter. And, maybe even something with crypto and better video handling and, all sorts of things that basically, LeoFinance already has in a lot of ways. We have Web3 and tokenization and blockchain features already built into what we do. So really it's just kind of taking what we've got and running with it. And the new UI is really focused around, finally, after all these years of being on Hive, finally ironing out the process of becoming a user, creating content, engaging with content. The new UI is like that final piece of the puzzle that I think Hive has been waiting for, which is like easy onboarding, a platform that's easy to understand, easy to get started. Prior, if you wanted to get started on the social side of Hive, you had to, start creating long form content, start reading long form content. And now with the new UI, it's, hey, this is like Twitter, but it's on a blockchain and it's immediately understandable. So really that's kind of the development side of what we're doing. The next side is DeFi, and obviously a big focus has been on Cub and growing liquidity there. So I think that's pretty obvious to everybody. And if you're following those monthly reports, the revenue, I think last month was like $9,125. So, we're seeing revenue kind of grow exponentially over there on Cub. And the LP incentives paid out, I think, were $17,000 last month. So we were basically like 52% of the way to flipping deflationary. And obviously the goal on Cub right now is just to flip deflationary, get the tokenomics under control, and then keep growing the Beehive BHBD liquidity. So that's what's going on, on the DeFi side. I think it's just a big focus on growing all of that. And, some of the development stuff for DeFi right now is focused on the new arbitrage bot, which, hopefully will 2 or 3x the revenue. I think it will, just from our early testing. So all of this development stuff, the Leo stuff and the DeFi stuff, I'm hoping most of it you'll see by the end of January, so, potentially within the next 30 days, you'll start to see, open alpha released on the UI and the new arbitrage bot kind of taking hold and radically improving the volume for Beehive and BHBD. And then the third aspect that I was talking about is the marketing aspect. So this is something that Eric and I were talking about, I think a week or two ago. We had a chat about monthly active users and what our goals were for 2023. And we set these goals. Right now we have about 500 to 600 monthly active users who come to LeoFinance, use it, and that's tracked based on people who make a comment or make a post, and then upvoting as well. So basically engaging with content or creating content. So right now we're at about 500 to 600, which is very tiny. Obviously, in the social media space, it's like non-existent. Relative to the crypto space, that's actually pretty high. If you look at if you look at like real monthly active users, not like bots that are just running around, because we don't track bots. If you look at real monthly active users, 500 to 600 is relatively high. So Q1, by the end of Q1, we're trying to get 1,000 monthly active users, so almost double what we've got now. And I think that's really achievable with the new UI and showing people that it's crypto Twitter on the blockchain. I think the onboarding process is going to be a lot smoother, and I think getting people engaged and active when it's focused on microblogging is going to be 10 times easier than trying to get them engaged in long form content. I think that alone, mixed with putting out some tweets, maybe getting some existing users to get some friends onboarded, and then onboarding more people from Hive to the Leo UI. I think between just that low hanging fruit, that's what we were talking about. That 1,000 number is pretty achievable. Q2, we're just looking to jump another 500 to 1,500, and then Q3, 3,000, and Q4, 5,000. So by the end of 2023, so this is obviously being recorded at the beginning of 2023, we're trying to basically 10x the user base on Leo. And this is something that we've talked about for years, the years that Leo has existed. But in all those years, we've never had Twitter on the blockchain, right? Like the app of Leo has always been long form content, kind of hard to understand, a big learning curve to get involved. But now with the new UI, it's you look at it and you're like, oh, this is just Twitter. I mean, it looks almost identical to Twitter. And then when you dig deeper, you'll find things like your wallet, and you'll find things like the long form content, but you got to dig deeper for those. That's not what you find when you first land on the UI. So I think that's going to make a big difference. And then obviously, some marketing stuff that we're going to work on in terms of getting some influencers, just spreading the word that crypto Twitter actually exists. And you don't have to pay to microblog, which is the only form of other crypto Twitter on blockchains that exists right now. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Like those three core sectors for 2023 that we're focused on, development, and just like general growth, in terms of, both DeFi liquidity and then the growth of our actual, monthly active users. That's where our broad-based focus is.
Yeah, one of the things that really get me excited about the new UI is that finally the learning curve on Hive is not so steep. Like the threads idea flattens the learning curve so much. And the other one is that we are the only, LeoFinance is the only front end that didn't drop on monthly active users throughout the whole year, whereas the other front ends are maybe 25, 30% lower in terms of users. So we didn't drop on that. Now it's time to actually grow that amount of users. Really excited.
Yeah, Dal's put out that post that you're talking about, where he analyzed all the front ends and their monthly active users, based on the stuff I was talking about, like comments, posting, and stuff. And yeah, like almost every other UI dropped 20-30% in users throughout 2022, which is pretty standard on Hive. I mean, that's always happened, where people are here when the rewards are high and then they leave when the rewards are low, which is actually counterintuitive, because if you earn while it's low, then when the bull market comes, you make more. But that's the crypto normie for you.
No different than people wanting to buy Bitcoin at 50, but then they don't want to buy it at 20.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's the cool thing that we saw in that post was that Leo was the only UI that didn't drop, because we've kind of reached kind of this ceiling in growth, in my opinion, in terms of what we can do with the current UI and current technology. But the Threads technology has really supercharged what we can do on the back end. And now the only missing piece now is the front end that looks like Twitter, and that Project Blank front end. So with that front end in place, I think we can go from hitting that ceiling in growth, where we're not losing any users, but we're also not really gaining any, to breaking through that ceiling with the new UI and breaking out to that 5,000 monthly active user target.
Well, I think that's twofold in terms of onboarding and whether it's reaching 5,000 or reaching 50,000. But for think about how we keep talking about this comparison to Twitter. How do 99% of people use Twitter? They don't do it on their laptop, right?
Yeah.
They're using it on their phone. Usually the app. Some people will go to the web from their phone, but the new UI coupled with the ability to use the app from Android and an iPhone, I think is huge for the potential onboarding.
Yeah. Oh, God, by the way, I was Android for life, like you, for around 15 years, and I got a new iPhone as a Christmas present, and I went to the dark side.
Someone hates you.
Yeah.
No.
That's like getting a lump of coal.
Yeah, I feel like betraying all my core principles. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Everyone has their preference. I mean, my big beef with iPhones has always been that I feel like I hear more people having problems when an update gets pushed and then they have all sorts of drama. I've never had any problems with an Android update, nor have I heard of anyone having any, but I personally know several people that, I was trying to help them sort out their iPhone drama, and I don't even have a damn iPhone. So I was like, yep, iOS, pass.
And it's pretty hard, right, Carl, to list an app on iOS, right?
Yeah, we've had a perpetual battle with the iOS App Store trying to get it listed.
That's crazy that it's still not listed.
Yeah, it'll get there someday. But that versus Android, which got listed, I think like 4 hours after we released it. 4 hours after we submitted it to them.
Yeah.
iOS LeoFinance app.
Yeah, and
soon.
Yeah, soon. Yep, very soon. One thing that I thought was interesting was, I don't know if you guys caught this, but when a lot of the Elon Musk Twitter stuff was going on, they were taught, there was a bunch of advertisers that decided to ditch Twitter, and they were saying all sorts of stuff about illicit content and whatever, coming up with these crazy things to try to battle Elon. And then the App Store was talking about potentially removing Twitter. This was the iOS App Store, potentially removing Twitter.
Wow.
Which is that was super crazy, right? It's how much of a hold does this crazy party have over over society, essentially? I mean, if you remove Twitter from the iOS App Store, how many millions of users are they going to lose? One thing that kind of stuck out to me from that was that the apps that we're working on and trying to get submitted, obviously to iOS and already on Android, they're great. And I definitely, still plan to keep developing them and keep working on them. And there's plenty of bugs that we need to fix as well. But a big thing, I think, is that you need to have a resilient web app that can be used on mobile and desktop, because there's no telling when you can just get removed from one of these app stores. And then the app, and we've invested a lot of money in the mobile apps, and there's no telling when they can just get taken down, for whatever reason that iOS and Android decide that is worthy, what's worthy and what isn't. So for me, a big piece of the new UI has been mobile first. So the new UI is designed actually mobile first. So if you go to obviously when it's in production, if you go to leofinance.io from your mobile phone, it's going to look almost identical to being in the actual Twitter iOS app or Android app on your phone. It's going to look like the home buttons, the menu buttons are at the bottom of the screen. Everything is like super mobile first in terms of usability. So that's been a big thing for me, is like, one thing I'm worried about is not being resilient enough and being taken down, because, obviously we are kind of mirroring Twitter with this new app. So, being censored or taken down in various forms. So the goal has really been to make the web app super resilient, so that, even if LeoFinance.io got taken down for some reason, we could open source the whole app, and then now anyone can just spin up a copy of it on the web. And that versus, iOS and Android native apps is far more resilient, because, obviously you'd have to get taken down from the whole internet.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, I like that. The mobile first is huge.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I use LeoFinance more in the mobile browser on my phone than I even do on desktop anymore. Just because, it's Threads has kind of changed the way I use it.
Yeah.
I still do long form content, but as you can see, I spend a lot of time on Threads, and it's now that more people are, I guess, able to use LeoFinance. They don't have to necessarily write about finance, crypto. They can post pictures of their dog or, what they ate today. Just like Twitter, that's huge.
Yeah. I was wondering, Kyle, this is just an idea that maybe I shouldn't put out there on a video, but how about having a separate, right now you have inflation from Leo, from the Leo tokens, let's just say 100,000 a year. And right now all of it is going towards posts and threads, but no one is going to vote 100% on a thread if they have a lot of Leo power. But what if, 50% of the reward pool was specifically for threads? And then you actually make people use threads more, because that's an easier way of mining Leo tokens versus long form content. I thought about that now.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting part about that is that you kind of already are basically dividing the rewards pool, right? Because when you vote on a thread, you're still pulling from the same pool of rewards that you are from posts, right? So, I could see the value in having its own rewards pool. And, that's definitely something that we could always revisit in the future. But I actually think that it kind of giving, and I put this out in a post probably a few weeks ago, that the vision of LeoFinance and the whole ecosystem that we're building is really just to build the tooling and then let the users decide what to do with all of that, right? So keeping the rewards pool open and keeping it dynamic in terms of having both posts and threads out of the same pool lets the users decide, how much should threads get rewarded? Because I think most people probably wouldn't vote a thread 100% if they have, say, 100,000 Leo power. But that's not to say that they couldn't or that they're not allowed, right? It's all just up to them. So I mean, I think it's an interesting idea to split off the rewards pool, because what that would basically do is signal that, it basically creates doing that would essentially create a minimum threshold for rewards on threads, because that if you section off a percentage of the rewards pool, then that percentage has to get paid to threads, right? Exactly. So, you know, so a 1% vote on a thread has to pull a certain amount out of that pool. So it's an interesting idea. I think it would be interesting if we, you know, like, especially with the new UI and the focus on threads, if we see that, you know, a lot of rewards are still going to posts, and, you know, like, let's say that 99% of rewards are going to posts and only 1% are going to threads. And, you know, people on threads are complaining that they're not getting enough rewards, and, you know, there's not enough voting happening on threads. Then I definitely think it would be cool to kind of create some sort of dynamic pool division where, you know, maybe it starts out at 10% of the rewards are only for threads. So now you've created a minimum threshold that 10% of the daily rewards have to go to threads. And then, you know, and then we can kind of keep rebalancing that. So yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, and I think it'll be that'll be extremely relevant with the new UI when threads are, you know, I mean, like, I'm looking at the new UI, like, threads are the homepage, right? So if you're looking at the homepage and everything is $0, then that's going to become, you know, a very relevant conversation where you're like, well, threads are just not earning enough. So, you know, something needs to be done to the division of the pool.
And it actually makes people, like, let's just say, if you have 50,000 Leo power and you vote on posts, maybe you are not giving so much rewards. But if you focus on threads, and threads has a part of that inflation, then maybe that 50% full vote would give 10 times more than what you would give to a post, right? Because you are taking from the threads pool and allocating rewards where maybe not so many people are doing the same. So you are competing with less Leo power to allocate rewards.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see that natural shift of, will a lot of whales start curating threads over posts? I think that's going to be really interesting. Like, I know from my perspective, I mean, I still curate a lot of posts. Obviously, I use @leo.voter also to curate. So I'm spending a lot of time reading posts. I pretty much see every new post that's in the created feed. But that being said, I've started to spend a lot of time curating threads. So, I mean, you'll see my upvotes just all over threads. And I think you know, I usually give out a 5 or a 10% upvote, which usually comes out to like 5 to 10 cents on threads, which I think is mostly solid when it comes to like microblogging. Like, you don't want to be paying people $10 per microblog. So it's kind of up to the community to decide what that dynamic is. I would love to see, you know, @Dals, he does all of the, you know, stats posts for Leo. I would love to see, maybe he could add a section to see what percentage of rewards are actually paying out to threads and what percentage are paying out to posts. Because I have no idea what it is right now, but I would assume that the percentage of what's going to threads is increasing every single day, just because I'm seeing a lot more threads every single day, and I'm seeing a lot more people curate. I know One Alpha has been curating a lot of threads as well. So I'd be curious to see if that percentage is increasing, and it's a material percentage. Just off the top of my head, I would probably assume that it's around 5 to 10% of all the rewards pool, which is a pretty small amount, considering that the new UI is going to put threads front and center. So I don't know, maybe you guys have an idea. What would be, if you had to pick an ideal world, what percentage of rewards goes to threads from the rewards pool every day, and what percentage goes to long form content?
I would say 10 to 15% to threads. Something like that would be realistic, because at the end of the day, long form is how LeoFinance was born, and you don't want to take too much away from that, but you still want to encourage the use of it. You know, we don't have a lot of whales on there, so I think a small shift in the rewards pool might attract, you know, some bigger users.
Yeah, if you think about it, the main focus of getting to 1,500 users most likely will be focused mainly on Hive users, like already high blockchain people who are familiar with. So I would say higher, because you want them, like people who post about homestead or food. You want them to come here and mine Leo by using threads, and you want them to not have to post about finance. You want them to just engage on threads, comment, drop their posts, links, whatever. So if they can do that and earn, let's just say 5 Leo out of that thread or that engagement, I don't know, I would say it would be better. But I have no idea about I don't even have idea how much Leo is minted every day. So
Governance vote.
What do you think, Mitch?
That's my opinion. When in doubt, governance vote. Let the user base decide. Isn't that the whole point of crypto? Democracy,
Yeah.
decentralization, wisdom
Yeah.
of the crowd.
Well, that's a big reason why I say, you know, rather than create that artificial percentage division in the rewards pool, it's kind of a daily governance vote between all the users, right? Like if they are, you know, if the users are giving 50% a day to threads, that's what they've decided to do. You know, the stakeholders have decided to do that. And, you know, if they're giving only 5%, then they've also decided only to give 5%. So that's one reason I'm a big proponent of just keeping things as general, and, you know, kind of keeping the tooling general, which is what that post I was talking about kind of referred to, was you know, keeping things very general, and then letting the user base decide how to use those things. Like LeoFinance, I was saying, because we had a few discussions about maybe changing the name of LeoFinance and merging Project Blank and LeoFinance, and then opening it up with a broader name. But then, you know, basically those discussions turned into, well, LeoFinance is actually like a cool brand to have. Like, you want to have some sort of niche branding. So you brand it as crypto Twitter on the blockchain. But if people want to come in and talk about homesteading, or talk about, you know, or post pictures of their dogs, they still can. Like, nobody's telling them that they can't, right? And then you create the tooling for them to then split off and create a little community page on LeoFinance, you know, for homesteading or for dog pictures. And, you know, rather than telling people what they can and can't do, you give them the tools to create what they can and can't do. So that's, you know, that's my belief of what Web3 is really about. And I think that the problem was that we just didn't have the tooling, you know, needed to make all that possible. But with threads, I think it's possible. With the new Threads UI, I think it's entirely possible that we can create just very general tooling, and then people come in and do what they're going to do with it.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to know about your New Year's resolution, but I have one more question about LeoFinance before we go into that. Carl, there's been a lot of noise about NFTs. Will we see them on 2023? And how is the broad idea of NFTs on LeoFinance?
Yeah, you know, I definitely think we'll see at least the first iteration of NFTs on Leo in 2023. You know, the broad idea behind them is that the real value of NFTs is in their social currency, right? So, you know, you had this kind of NFT explosion where all these people came in and speculated on the value of these NFTs, and, you know, things just kind of went haywire. And it became cool to have like a Bored Ape NFT, and you know, then if you had one, you could mint another NFT, and then it created this whole ponzification of NFTs, right? So
with no real use case.
Right, no real use cases. You know, I have a bunch of different NFTs that people have told me to buy, you know, over the years. And one was Gerber told me to buy an Adidas NFT, and I bought that Adidas NFT, and it's still worth more than I bought it for, which is pretty cool in terms of ETH, not in terms of dollars. So Still worth more than I bought it for. But one cool thing is that they are airdropping physical merch for those NFTs. So, I've received like a hoodie and some physical merch from it, which I think that's a pretty cool utility, especially from a clothing company. So, that's kind of what I see for NFTs is like, it needs to have some sort of social utility, social currency. Now that I have that NFT and I've gotten airdropped merch, I can wear that. I've worn that hoodie out and people are like, oh, is that like a crypto hoodie? And it actually has like a Bored Ape logo on it and stuff because they partnered with them. So, it's kind of a cool social currency thing to be like, yeah, I have that NFT. It actually has my wallet address on it. So like you can look up my wallet address and you can see that I actually have the NFT in the wallet. So it's kind of like a cool social status signal, if you will. So, with Leo NFTs, that's what we're not going for. I think a lot of projects have gotten into this game of releasing, NFT after NFT after NFT after NFT, which is all basically aimed at just raising money continuously. Which is, that's not what I want to do with Leo NFTs. It's very possible that we'll probably never sell an NFT, in terms of like, you don't pay to buy some sort of NFT or pay to mint an NFT. Maybe we'll do something where you burn Leo to mint NFTs or something. But the idea behind them is going to be that you have an NFT wallet on your LeoFinance account. And when you're using threads or using the UI, you can like feature some of the NFTs next to your name. And if people, hover over your name, they can see which NFT badges you have. And, something I want to do too is like soulbound NFTs. So like if you make, 10,000 threads in the lifetime of your account, you get a 10,000 thread soulbound NFT. So also, if for anyone who doesn't know, soulbound NFT is just an NFT that you can't trade, right? You can't send it to another wallet. It's locked to your wallet. So I think there's cool stuff that we could do like that, which is like, that creates kind of like this social currency within LeoFinance. And it just kind of creates it kind of just deepens the Web3 experience that is LeoFinance, right?
Yeah. Engage to mint.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good way to put it. Engage to mint.
AKA bragging rights.
Yep.
Bragging rights.
Or maybe, I don't know, if you have certain NFT, your threads will show higher on the UI or in a different color, like more
That's
attractive.
definitely an aspect that can be used for NFTs. Basically NFTs can be used for anything from, specific membership types to, access to something, rights to something. And I think eventually you're going to see the tokenization of, almost everything. And it's going to be exactly in that light, especially, with more even formal like Web2 businesses where, as opposed to, whatever, just subscribing and paying through like Stripe or something. It's just like, there's whatever stock trader coin and, gold, platinum, and bronze. And, depending on which coin you hold, is what access to you, what level of room you get and blah, blah, blah. And then obviously those things can be, traded on the open market, in addition to, new coins being issued every year, let's say. So I just some kind of format like that, I think is going to happen, and whether it makes sense or not, or whether it actually is functional is not even the point. It's just that there's going to be a discovery phase of like the tokenization of things. So I think we're going to see all these different things experimented with, right? And then eventually it's like, all right, what's going to be the norm? Because and it's fresh in my mind because on my flight down, I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, and he actually had Brian Armstrong from Coinbase on. And, so he was talking about crypto and, the reality of where we are. And it's still so effing early. Think about even like the internet in the 90s where it was dial-up modems and, and it would cause the phone line to be busy. And, your parents didn't want you to use the internet because it tied up the phone line and grandma couldn't call, right? Think about that. Like there was a time where the internet was looked at as a nuisance, right? To use. And that's exactly where crypto is right now, right? Everyday folk is like, I don't get it. It's a pain in the ass. How do I buy it? Blah, 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 blah. How do I create, an account on Hive? Blah, 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 So as we get to this point where it becomes more user friendly and also not looked at as a nuisance and something that's, and the FOMO kicks in, right? The FOMO of essentially Web3, right? And then using blockchains. We haven't hit that yet. The only FOMO we've seen in crypto is just basically price speculation when we're in a bull market, and everyone wants to fucking buy Dogecoin and, and Shiba and then get wrecked and say crypto's a scam. It's like, so, it got me thinking about that again in terms of the adoption curve and just where we are with, Web3 and blockchain. Forget like just crypto individually, just blockchain and Web3. And it's just like, it's so early still, that it just makes me want to continue to interact on these platforms, continue to stack coin, because I just, don't see how it can't be beneficial, at least for me personally, because the growth of this has been consistent and I don't see any reason it's going to stop,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we're like those guys that won't stop talking about the internet before everybody's interested.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're the weirdos. We're those crypto guys, those weird crypto guys.
Yeah. To me, NFTs on Leo might look like enhancing the UI. Like, for example, right now you can give 100% votes per day, right? But if you get an NFT for, I don't know, posting once a month for 30 days, and you get this NFT where you can use it forever, once a month, to give one full voting power to one full voting power vote. So instead of having to give 10, you can give one strong vote, or you can get an NFT for, I don't know, you can get to the curator's peak top spot for 24 hours if you have that NFT once a month, or your threads will look shiny once a month for 24 hours if you have X NFT. Like you have the normal user interface for normal users, but if you get more NFTs for engagement, then you get an enhanced experience. Like something like that would be amazing. Like
it'd be like those guys on Reddit that have like the 15 little badges near their name, and their comment shows up in red.
Yeah, like you're this special guy for having this NFT, or you can have a flare, or like things like that. Like you can consume LeoFinance as a normal user, or you can just engage more and be a special user. Like you don't even have to spend money. It's not a pay to win. It's an engage to get visibility. Something like that.
Yeah. I have two things to say about that. The first is badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
Yeah.
All right. How to get a movie quote in. Come on, Cheech and Chong. But anyway, that's exactly what those NFTs are, though. I mean, essentially, like in terms of the examples, that you were giving, it's almost like, badges in a way. But again, it goes back to, like create some kind of perk by holding this token, right? And it's just like, sweet, I want to see my whether it's long form posts or even just, threads, I want to see them, featured for a week. So it's like, I purchased this token and then after, a week, I sell it to somebody else, right? Or it could just be, whatever. It could not even have an expiration date. So there's definitely an opportunity to use NFTs for perks on LeoFinance. And then that'd be a great way to generate more revenue, so to speak, for the LeoFinance ecosystem, where, whatever, maybe a percentage of each sale goes towards whatever, burning Leo.
Yeah.
I think, we've talked about this idea of doing like a Leo game with NFTs and doing something on that front. And I think there's a lot of people in the community that would appreciate this, like Trumpman and others who've said that we've kind of spread things really thin. A lot of these ideas are kind of like creating power-ups from a video game, right? So like you're using the UI and then, XYZ NFT gives you some sort of power-up. Maybe your threads show up in red for a week, or, maybe your threads get featured at the top, or, maybe you get to use the NFT and you get to like burn the NFT to give someone 100%, Leo.voter vote. And like all these different things are like superpowers that you kind of gain from from engaging. And I like that idea of like engage to mint, right? So like the more you engage on the UI, the more you mint these like cool power up NFTs, which is kind of like playing a video game where the more you play and the better you perform, the more power ups you get and superpowers you get to use, one-time use things and things that recharge, things like that. And kind of combining all of these ideas and then putting it out on the new UI, I think kind of turns using LeoFinance itself into its own game, right? Where it gamifies the experience of, you're creating 1,000 threads a month, and then you're getting a superpower NFT to, use, big upvotes on something, or, highlight a few of your threads, or highlight a few of your long form posts, or get featured on the Leo Twitter account, all sorts of things that you can kind of engage to mint. I think that creates a really cool, like gamified experience where you're just generating all these different superpowers. And then, it just kind of creates like this virtuous cycle, this pinwheel effect where, you start engaging and then you start getting these superpowers, and then the superpowers give you more incentive to engage more. And then you keep going, and then other people jump in and they start engaging more. And as all that engagement kind of keeps feeding on itself, there's just more and more engagement, which is, that's key, which also is how all the revenue gets generated, right? With the ad revenue and everything on that front. So engagement really is everything. And if we kind of like gamify the experience, I think that's super cool. I think that's the real use case for NFTs, or at least like
and
a big one.
It's like you say, it actually aligns with there's not a market, and it's not a pay to win. It's an engage to get more engagement. It's an engage to win, actually. And there's no market, so there's no speculation, there's no drops, there's no bumps. So yeah, I think it's gonna be amazing.
Then you get enough NFTs and enough engagement, and you become an AI like Taskmaster. Eventually, you just upgrade.
You get
Very
you get a
true.
big upgrade, hardware upgrade.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I weight like 30% more than what I should weight. So one of my resolutions is to actually drop to 75 kilos. So it's like 160, 170 for burger people listening to us. What about you, Kat? Do you have any idea of how 2023 looks for you in the personal side?
Well, I mean, if anything, it's maybe putting on weight, because losing is not. I'm blessed with the metabolism. I'm just a tall, skinny dude. So if anything, I need to get back in the gym and put some guns back on here. Bring out the gun show. No, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because usually I think about investing goals, but when it comes to personal goals, one of them is really going to be just in terms of health with eating, because as Cal knows, like I've had some digestive issues over the last year or so. So I'm about to do a crazy reset and go on this super healthy eating kick in terms of just really just natural, non-processed, and just get away from all the bullshit to kind of get my gut back in order. So I'm sure with that, I'll probably get lean or leaner, but in the end, stay healthy so I can keep playing hoops. So basketball 2-3 days a week in 2023 is my goal. It's what keeps me sane amidst this crazy crypto market. And then, in regards to crypto, same thing I've been saying for the last month, because I think it's going to hold true for most of 2023. It's the time to stack and stake.
Stack and stake.
Just keep on doing it. Keep stacking, keep staking, because, I mean, who knows, whatever, maybe we'll get into a bull market 2024 when we get the next Bitcoin halving. Maybe we won't. I just know that there's no reason to expect 2023 to be a bullish year. And that, isn't just because of crypto as a standalone. That's because of looking at everything, the economy, worldwide, but the US also, and then the stock market, which, who knows, could do all right, given that it's down like 25% now. So it could, do okay, but nothing flashes, bull market in any aspect, I think, of, the economy and speculative markets for 2023, at least the first half of it. So I just don't look at anything being a banner year. So this is a time to, stack, stake, this is a time to build things, right? So that's my viewpoint of 2023. Basically, I'm using 2023 to make sure that I'm in an awesome position for 2024 to kick ass, assuming that ends up being a good year.
Yeah.
In regards to markets.
What's your Leo power goal for 2023?
Man,
let's get some peer pressure.
This is bull. This is bull because I'm already near my goal, so I'm not looking to press higher. So, I'm not gonna lie. I was at 50,000 Leo power for a long time because that was my goal, and I got there and I sat there for a long time. And then any Leo I was getting, I was selling into Cub, and then staking, and especially back when Cub first launched. But yeah, no, now I'm at like 85,000 Leo power. My goal is to get to 100, which obviously isn't, a big, number in terms of distance. But yeah, I'm just trying to get to the hundo. And then when I get to that number, honestly, I'm probably going to stay there for a while and, use Leo to disperse elsewhere into the, Leo ecosystem.
Yeah. The ad revenue is pretty like I have high hopes about that. So I'm looking to get 150,000 by the end of the year. So it's gonna be hard as hell because I'm sitting at 75,000. So but looking at how
double's possible.
Yeah. What about you, Nifty? What's in store for 2023? In terms of personal, Leo power, GM friends, you can shield GM friends if you want.
I think people are tired of seeing it. No, I think personally, I could stand to lose a little bit of weight too. So I definitely want to try to eat better and, take better care of my health. And I've got COVID right now, so I want to get over that, of course. But yeah, in terms of anything else, I pretty much just want to stop being my own barricade. You know what I mean? Like, get out of my own way, do what I want to do, build what I want to build, and stop getting in my own way. So it's been a rough year, but I think the next couple of years are going to be really good. So in terms of Leo power, I would love to hit 100K, but I'm only at 26 right now. So I'm definitely going to double. But yeah, I would love to shoot way over that double mark for sure. And I think the ad revenue thing is it's gonna be really good for everyone.
Yeah. So, what about you, Kyle? And don't say that you want to sleep more.
I don't want to sleep
I'll
more.
add that to my list too.
Yeah. Sleep more for sure.
I've got a lot of different goals. So, the weight loss one, I'd like to lose a little bit. I've been meaning to drop maybe like 20 pounds. I'm at like 240 right now.
Damn.
I'm pretty heavy guy. I'm 6'1". So
6'1". I was actually going to ask you how tall were you, because on the screen you look like you're 6'6" or something like that. Because you are like.
Mitch said the opposite once. He said it looked like
I always thought Cal was short. I thought he was like 5'9" or something, and then he was like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, so 5'9" is short?
Shit. I just got attacked there. I'm 5'10".
He's like, I feel attacked. In theory, the average.
Cat is what? What are you, 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah, I'm 6'4".
The
difference is, here's the thing though. I only weigh $180.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you I'm thin. I'm built like a basketball player.
I'm built like, everyone asks if I used to play football. I'm built like a football player. So, and I used to do competitive powerlifting when I was in high school. So,
makes sense.
Yeah. So I still have that stocky frame that I used to have. and Mitch knows this, but I broke my back powerlifting, so that's why I don't do it anymore.
Shit.
Yeah, so now I just sit at the computer all day. But yeah, I'd love to drop like maybe 20 pounds or so, just get a little bit lighter. It helps my back when I'm a little bit lighter. So
Someone send Cal a Leo branded Peloton for New Year's.
I actually have a Peloton. Maybe I'll
You set it up
rebrand
at his desk. He can be
Yeah.
Pelotoning while we're on the call.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Maybe I'll do that sometime. That would be funny.
I actually know a guy that does that, like on some of the other podcasts I'm on. He'll literally be on the freaking Peloton while he's doing the call.
That's hilarious. I would
Yeah.
do that. I
Wow.
would do that. Yeah, so that's, like a fitness goal for me. And then eating healthier too. I kind of go through phases of like eating healthy. And then, when I'm really busy, I kind of eat, I don't eat as healthy as I would like to when I'm really busy. So eating better, I would love to sleep a little more. I know Eric told me I can't say that, but I don't sleep a whole lot. So I would love to sleep a little bit more. Yeah. And then, in terms of Leo Power, I would love to, my personal account, I think is at like 500K right now. So I would love to bump that up. Maybe I'll shoot for 1 million. I missed the last Leo Power update, but every Leo Power update recently I've been powering up 100,000. So I'll try to keep that going in 2023 each month. I'd love to power up 100K every month. Like you guys said, I'm excited for the ad revenue stuff too. Since we launched Threads, ad revenue has, more than doubled. So just kind of seeing that continue to grow, seeing the new UI come into play and have the ad revenue effect as well. That kind of makes me excited for Leo Power. And then another goal too is doing more, podcasts and stuff like this. I think people really love this stuff. So, Eric and I talked about organizing a lot more stuff for 2023 and getting some influencers in here and just doing some cool stuff.
Nice.
Can I make one observation about ads? Because the one thing that's always bothered me about ads on LeoFinance is basically like they're not clean. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Or is that just a me thing? Like they're always like truncated or cut off or.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And listen, and this just could be, my high, neuroticism that it bothers me so much. Maybe other people don't care, but when I see that, it just seems like ghetto to me. And I'm like, I don't even want to click on this ad.
Yeah, I think we could do a better job. The one thing we're doing, so if you look at the current UI, we have static ads. So that means like the ad code is not native inline. It's actually just a static, like it's like, I think it's like for the long ones, it's like 1028 by 568 or something like that. So it's like we can't change those dimensions, right? So it has to show in that frame. And then if the ad is actually bigger than that, it'll cut off, like you're saying, it'll truncate it. But what we're doing with the new ad code in the new UI is that it's native inline. So whatever size the ad is, it should scale the box to be whatever size, it'll fit that size basically. So I haven't, on the new UI, we actually haven't added ads yet, because we're still kind of adding like those core, posts and stuff like that. But once we do add ads, I think hopefully it'll look a lot better. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of different things we can do on the ad front to make it better. So like not truncating ads, making it look more native. Like Twitter makes ads look really native into the platform. So that's going to be a big thing that we try to do. And then ad placement and like optimizing where we can place ads. I had someone come in and look at the UI and give us like a little report on how optimized our ads are. And they said that it was horrendous. I mean, like there's so much wasted space and wasted revenue that we could be getting that we aren't getting because our ads just aren't optimized in terms of placement. So there's a lot of
That's a win,
a lot of stuff I want to do.
There's a lot of room for upside. So
yep.
Yeah, I think if they looked more like say for example like an inline thread, just kind of like you're scrolling, you see the ad, you click on it, maybe you don't, but I kind of like on Twitter, you don't really know And so
Right.
you look at it and it says little ad in the corner
Promoting or
there.
something. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, to me, the moment that Leo gets ads, like from many fronts, like a lot of people want to advertise on LeoFinance just because they know we have 5,000 users, like crypto users, who are engaged and who know about blockchain. I mean, it's just, we are probably the only place, well, Hive in general, we're the only place where people can go and engage with potential users in an organic way. Because okay, people can advertise on Coinbase or on CoinGecko or interfaces like those, but on LeoFinance you can actually engage with the potential user. So yeah, I don't know. We just need 5,000 users, Gal.
Yeah. I mean, 5,000
Yeah.
users is going to radically change the way Leo's tokenomics work.
10x.
10x. Yeah. I mean, I think the ad revenue would far more than 10x just because of the nature of exponentials.
Yeah. So this is gonna go
5,000
out.
doable.
Yeah, it's pretty doable.
Yeah. 100%.
This is gonna go out pretty like I hope it goes out right before New Year's, like 1 a.m. 2023. So do you have anything to say about, like, to the audience for next year or whatever, or should we close this and say Happy New Year?
I'm good. I think we should wish everyone a happy new year and happy trying to achieve your goals. I think everyone, almost everyone, I think, sets a lot of goals in the new year. So it's a good time to evaluate, these next couple of days are a good time to kind of evaluate 2022 and think about what you can do better in 23. I know that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, to me it's just like normal days, but whenever I start a diet or whenever I start, I should get more exercise, psychologically, it's easier to start on the first of the month or on a Monday. So starting on the first of the year, it's going, like, it always helps for me at least 3 months until I break the diet or stop exercising or whatever. So.
Yep.
And don't forget to make your My Leo Goals post. Check the latest at Leo Growth post. There's a lot of prizes. And Cal usually lets Leo Growth do their own thing. So you might not know about this, Cal, but we need to buy 50,000 Leo for the prizes.
Okay. I'll get on it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Surprise.
That's
Surprise,
funny.
yeah. Happy
New Year's
Year.
surprise. Love it.
Yeah. All right. This was great, guys. Thanks for making some space in your late year schedule. I hope we see the Wensun show next week or when you're able to.
Wensun show. I am back home in front of my machine, so I'm good next week, Cal, if you are.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. The When Soon show will return.
It will be the When Soon Show 2023, first episode of the year.
First of the year. Love to see it.
Start off strong.
We'll give you all the 2023 soons.
All the soons for your wins.
Yes.
Awesome.
Love it.
Happy New
All right,
Year's, guys.
Happy New
Happy New
Year's.
Year's.
Yes,
Thanks for
happy
jumping
new
on,
everyone.
everybody.
Have an awesome
Yeah.
holiday New Year weekend.
Yep. You too.
Yep. Everybody enjoy. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
A little later.
Oh, yeah.